Have you ever asked the questions like, do I kiss him or not kiss him? Should I wait to have sex? Or should I date a man if he's not Christian? If you have, then this video is for you because we're going to be answering the questions to all those things, plus giving you 5 boundaries that we recommend every godly woman have when she is dating.
And if you don't know who we are, we're Matt and Kelly, and we're a married couple who work as dating and relationship coaches, and we help God-led women create their dream love lives. So before we go into number 1, we are going to share these boundaries as self-boundaries, right? Because often boundaries are, this is what the other person must do, and that can be a boundary. And at the same time, we're going to share these boundaries as a way for you to show up, right? This is how you get to live in alignment with God's word. So let's get into it.
So number 1 is, I will wait until marriage to have sex. Now let's read a Bible verse and then we will break this one down. The Bible verse that we chose today is 1 Corinthians 6:16, and it goes like this. Do you not know that he who unites himself with a prostitute is one with her in body? For it is said, the two will become one flesh. And I think he just makes it really clear here that people who have sex become one in body. And actually, that is an incredibly significant spiritual event and something that you actually want to do with one person. And I know for myself, this isn't something that I followed. You know, we're married now, but I never knew the importance, the spiritual, emotional, physical importance of waiting until marriage to have sex. And I wish someone would have told me, because it would have saved me a lot of heartache and pain and confusion, which can come from having premarital sex. And we actually made a list of potential consequences that can come about from having sex outside of marriage. So I'm just going to go ahead and read the list here. We have unplanned pregnancy, lack of commitment, confusion and anxiety, men seeing you for only one thing, which would be for sex, heartbreak, STDs, getting ghosted, and ultimately disconnection from God. So that's why we recommend waiting until marriage to have sex.
The second self-boundary is, I will be with someone who is at the same level or above me in my devotion to God. So the reason why this is important is because in Corinthians, it says, do not be yoked together with unbelievers. So think of it like this. Let's say that we're not married, we're single, we're dating, and let's say that Kelly is so committed to her devotion to God, and she wants to wait until marriage to have sex, and I am not committed to that. It can be easier for her to give in if she is with someone who isn't at the same level of commitment in devotion to God, right? And vice versa. However, if she is committed to waiting till marriage and I am committed to waiting till marriage, it can be easier. So it is important that when you are selecting a partner, ensure that you are committed to selecting a partner who is at the same level or above you in terms of their devotion to God.
Yeah, and not just what you won't do with them, but also what you will do. When you are together with a believer, you guys can deepen each other's faith. You can have conversations about God. You can go to church together, raise your kids as little believers, and that just is a huge compatibility thing that we recommend as well. Boundary number 3 is, I will not put myself in environments where it's tempting for me to fall into sin. Now this one's important because even though we might feel that, I couldn't be pushed into sin. I have too much conviction for that. And that's a beautiful thing to feel. But the reality is if you continue to put yourself in tempting situations, it might chip away at that conviction and lead you towards sin. And the Bible verse to back this one up is 1 Corinthians 15:33. It says, do not be misled. Bad company corrupts good character. And we also wanted to add that good company creates good character. So you really want to be hanging out with people who you feel inspired by, people who have similar values to you, and people who will respect your faith and respect your decision to wait, and all that comes with that.
So when we're talking about environment here, we are talking about the friends that you're with, right? And at the same time, you can also think about the physical environment. So for example, it could also be, you know what, I'm going to commit that I don't spend time alone in the bedroom with the person that I'm dating, right? Because that could lead to something else. Or it could be, you know what, we can be in the same room, but we're not going to be laying in bed together, right? Because the physical environment of that could lead to something else.
Boundary number 4 is, I will dress modestly. And here is the Bible verse. I also want the women to dress modestly with decency and propriety, adorning themselves not with elaborate hairstyles or gold or pearls or expensive clothes. 1 Timothy 2:9. Now, there's many different verses about modesty in the Bible which are beautiful, and we encourage you to look them up as well. And the reason for this is because really the way that you dress communicates what you want and what you're available for in partnership. And if it's almost like an advertisement for who you are and what you're available for, and if you're dressing in a modest way, it's really likely that you'd turn away men who aren't godly, or they wouldn't be interested, because the men who are just looking for sex are going to look for women who look like they're only looking for sex as well. And if you continually attract men who are only looking for sex, then you might want to take a look at what are you advertising to the men around you. And there's something really beautiful, and this is something that I've been learning and coming to in my walk with Christ as well, is discovering, what does modesty look like? What does it look like to really dress my body in a way that glorifies God?
And number 5 is, I will behave in ways that don't tempt me to fall into temptation. So this is where you get to get clear about what are the behaviors for you that might lead you into temptation. For some of you, it's going to be kissing. For some of you, it's going to be not sleeping over each other's house. For some of you, it's going to be not moving in together until marriage. For some of you, it's going to be drinking. I don't know what it is going to be for you, but that is something that you get to be clear on. It's like, what are the behaviors for me that might lead me into temptation? And in Matthew chapter 26, verse 41, it says, "Watch and pray so that you will not fall into temptation. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak." Your spirit might be willing to wait until marriage, and at the same time, our flesh is weak. So we created a workbook to help you to further define your boundaries when dating as a godly woman. So we're going to leave that link down below. Go ahead and download that. And not only are we going to help you to create your boundaries, but also to help you to communicate that as well. So go ahead, click the link down below. You'll see that somewhere in the description or in the caption, and you can go ahead and download that for free.
So with that said, we'll see you in the next video.